Good morning, everybody.
Hi,
Good morning.
Good morning.
So we do I'm actually here with the incoming president of Rivertown's Rotary. Her name is Deb Bornstein. She's from Dobbs Ferry.
Hello, hi, Deb.
Hi.
Hello.
So this is our, probably not yet, but you guys are all welcome to come to a Rivertown's Rotary meeting anytime. We actually meet on Tuesdays, the second, third, and fourth Tuesday of the month. We meet at Maud's Tavern. We invite all local businesses, anybody who's just interested in volunteerism. Rotary is actually the world's largest non-denominational service organization. And so we are one of many clubs around the world, a group of local residents from Hastings, Dobbs, Irvington, and Ardsley. And we get together and do service projects and have drinks at the bar at Maud's. So
What's better than that?
well, nothing's better than that. So anyway, I apologize for my delay. Good morning and welcome to the Hastings Village Chats. Send me a note later. This will be our last village chat until the fall, and I'm excited to have all of you here. I know we have a lot of events in Hastings and a lot of events coming up this spring and summer, and also I know that we have development projects, more sidewalk projects, et cetera, coming along. And I was wondering if Barbara, if you would like to start with any of that. Do you want to start with events first? I know we have the record riot coming.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull them up, so give me a second because my phone is slow and I have them on my
I can
computer.
pull them up if you
I'm gonna
need.
try to get them on my phone for you guys. Hold on.
How did everybody's basements fare? Because mine did not.
Oh, really? Mine is fine, but the sawmill was like, I thought my car was going to become a boat.
Yeah.
That was at about 6 at night. It's probably closed today. I wouldn't be surprised unless it went down. Where did I put that so I could share with you guys? Hold on a second. Sent. By the way, Linda I'll share this. Linda Loeb, who's in the village office. She just sent a list. I know she sent the 22 people who bought business parking passes an update of that it's time to get the new one. But I just wrote back to her and asked her to please send me a map of where those parking spots are so people can make a better decision. And she said it has to be updated. So I'm going to see if they can update that, and then I'll get it out so people can check it out. Okay, so upcoming events. I'm sorry, I wish I had two computer screens or I knew how to split this one. So, okay, we just had the Earth Day event. We almost pushed it to Sunday, but I'm so glad that we didn't, because clearly it would have been canceled. So that
was a disaster.
Really well. And wait, who else is on here? Can't see names. Oh, hi, Lorna. Hello. I didn't see you there. Hi, Samar. Hi, Mary Beth. Thanks for joining. Good morning. So you guys want me to give you an update on events, you said, right? So May 13th I am promoting a sidewalk sale. I have a lovely flyer for it that we've used in the past. And Amanda asked me what time that was going to be at. I have never put a time on it because everyone's shop hours are different or want a table for different kind of time. So I just promote this as a day to come downtown and people will be tabling. So, I think, if there's, except for Lorna, you would be a person that could table. So if you're able to do that on May 13th, that would be great. But otherwise, there's no one else here that really would do that, but I'll be encouraging people to. The Good Witch is doing another daylight disco, which had a really nice turnout last month. That was really quite a nice event, brought people downtown. It'll be also on May 13th. So that'll be a nice day downtown because it'll have the daylight disco and sidewalk sales going on. I don't think it's a market day. No, it's not. So, a market weekend, yeah, no. And then the Memorial Day Parade is on May 28th. And then we have the Friday Night Pride event, which was a huge success last year. That's June 2nd. And it has a rain date of June 9th. So anyone that wants to participate in that, it's a great night to be outdoors in Hastings. And the committee that's working on it just did a fabulous job. And I know that they're getting the middle and high school choruses out again with Mr. Riz. So it just brings down tons of families. And then Hastings on Jazz. Well, actually, the next day is the River Arts Music Tour, which we found really boosted foot traffic.
That does every year. I keep track of it, Penny Lick numbers. It makes the Saturday music tour. It drives a ton of traffic to downtown Hastings. It is
like a proud mommy because I invented that with Doug. It's his 6th one, I think. or something like that, and
It's
passed it on.
excellent, and people are in from all 4 towns. They float around from venue to venue, and it's
It's
just,
great event.
we do so much more sales because of it.
Michelle, is the chamber doing anything on that day in conjunction this time or no? Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute.
Yeah, no, I think what the chamber did last time in conjunction was not this
It was the
date.
studio
It was
tour.
the art, it was
Yeah,
the
it
other
was
one,
the
the fall
studio.
tour.
Right, right.
Yeah, it
So-
wasn't the music tour, it was the fall tour.
Yeah, correct. Okay. And then, and some people loved that it was on the same day, and some people said spread the wealth and give us 2 days where we have more foot traffic. So that's kind of up for, that was my idea to combine them, but then I got mixed feedback on that. So whatever you guys think. And then the Sunday jazz starts on June 4th in the downtown from 3 to 5:30 every Sunday afternoon. No, not everyone is open on Sundays, but Paul brings out the hot dog cart. And have you found that to increase business, Ellen?
It does. Well, at the ice cream shop, it's logical and it makes a lot of traffic. I will say that maybe the biggest comment we get in the summer when people are attending events in the downtown on Sundays is, how come everything's closed?
Right.
It's
Right.
a shame because people really are looking for businesses to be open for even a small amount of time on Sundays, but a lot of businesses are just shuttered.
Right, and people are going over to the pizza place on this side and down to you, and they're not being able to shop in between. On the one hand, I've always understood that, people are sole proprietors and they want a day off, or they can't be there all the
Me
time.
too.
Or they have staffing issues, but it is maybe worth experimenting with, Lorna, do you stay open on Sundays ever during that?
I
Well,
mean,
you're-
that's the conundrum, that every time that we are open on Sunday, we get almost no traffic. So
Right.
I think it's like everyone needs to all be open. Otherwise, if there's only 1 or 2 shops open, it's the rising tide lifts all boats.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm. Yeah.
but since we're a small business and, we can't afford to hire a ton of people,
Right.
it's hard. Yeah.
Right.
And also, for
yeah.
me, it's difficult to stay open and on Sunday because I'm the only one who working, and I'd be waiting for my Sunday. I will,
Mhm.
because Saturday would be very, very busy for me.
Mhm.
Maybe if there is traffic or somebody want to make an appointment, maybe I can open one Sunday a month.
Mhm.
Can I ask, do the Sunday events that we occasionally have downtown, does anybody notice a difference in that? We notice a bit of a difference, not a huge one. So for example, May 7th, this Sunday it's gonna be 70 degrees and sunny, is the Record Riot. And that's in the train station parking lot. And an awful lot of people come for that. And then May 14th, the week after, is the Hastings Flea. And the numbers of people attending that keep getting a bit bigger. I actually took that Sunday off the last time around. I deserved a Sunday off, and I wandered, and it was quite packed. So it's nice that we are scheduling Sunday events. I'm just wondering if anybody else sees a bump from those. I feel like ice cream is going to get a bump, because people are like, oh, cool, when we're done, we're going to go for ice cream, but that doesn't mean it for necessarily anything else. So I don't feel like my experience is relevant.
I also know that in the past, Alana's been willing to put out information about the downtown businesses or coupons or flyers. So at the main table, I'm sure she would do that still, if anyone wants to. I mean, Lorna, you're the only actual shop on the phone, so don't need to keep asking.
Well, and a lot of, it does make sense. They're going to swoop by and pick up some delicious ice cream, but ours is more of a longer decision cycle. It's furniture, so they're not going to, and I'll stop by and get a solid walnut coffee table.
Scope it out,
So it
though,
just
and
depends.
get it on their radar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. What other events are coming up? There's so I told you the Destination Hastings one, and then the Sunset concerts start in July. They're down at the waterfront. There could be opportunities to table down there if anyone's interested. I don't know if you'd want to bring a cart ever, Ellen, because the only person who puts out food there is Harvest, because they're right there. They put a bar out, but FYI, that's July 11th, 18th and 25th, and it's free to the public, and it has,
We might be able to, I'll get back to you offline.
Okay, all right, and yeah, and then for the fall, I've already put a hold on that great band that we had for Oktoberfest, and that we'll be doing that again, and that's pretty much the upcoming planned events until holiday events.
Barb, I have my event on May 20th.
Oh, yep, and it's on the Destination
Amanda.
Hastings website, and I think it's also on the Chamber of Commerce calendar, and if it's not, I'll follow up today.
Thank you
Hi,
so
Amanda.
much.
Yeah, I'm
Hi.
just about actually to say that there are people like Goodwich who's doing their own daylight disco, and you have your swing dance event, and we did put it on the website.
It's Latin dance this
I meant
time.
Latin, yeah, did I say swing? Latin, and we put it on Destination Hastings yesterday on the website, and I've got it ready to be posted. I'll do Instagram and Facebook and 10706 and one. Is it appropriate? Should I put 10706 parents too? I guess why
Yeah,
not?
you're
right?
more than welcome to. It's a adult, it's 21 and up, but it's, parents.
Parents could get a babysitter, right?
Exactly. And then in the fall, then the swing will return in the fall.
Okay, great. Amanda, how's your new space working out?
It's lovely. Unfortunately we moved in and the bike store closed like a week later.
I know. good foot
But,
traffic.
I'm hoping that space will, get somebody in there, but it's a big space and the rents are high. So,
So your owner is buying that, I think is gonna buy that space. I don't know if you've heard that, but he's contemplating going in on it with Eric, the landlord, and taking it over, or maybe they'll have a joint situation. And he's got some interesting ideas. Like he would love like a cooperative space where different artists could rent sections of it. Maybe have a podcasting booth in there for the community. He'd be open to a maker space, but the rent is kind of high for some of those things, unless it's split up between different entities. But I'm just floating it to everyone who's here to think about that, because he's very, he also owns the art studio. It's Ted and Nuna's art
and
studio.
I believe they're on the call.
Oh, Ted, you're there. So Ted, do you want to share about it? Are you there? I see you now. Yeah, put your microphone on. Maybe you can be more articulate than.
Sorry, I'm on an ancient
Yeah, you're cutting out.
Maybe enter it in the chat.
Okay, where do we see that?
Okay, now,
Oh, we can hear you now.
no, I was saying I'm on an ancient iPad that I'm trying to repurpose. So it's
Good for
very
you.
slow to respond, and I kept hitting the mute button, so it kept going on and off.
Oh, well, we can hear you now, Ted.
Well,
Yeah,
we're sort of in a holding pattern with Eric right now.
so it's
So
not.
we're in a holding pattern with Eric. We're waiting for him to get back with what he wants to do, and that's just kind of where we are right now. But you're right. It's all those thoughts about creating some kind of cooperative space, something that might be useful. A couple of people have expressed some interest in the space, so we'll see. I don't know. I don't know how well you know Eric, but I'm not especially
not well,
optimistic
Ted.
about
I think
how things are
that's.
gonna go for the future.
I didn't hear what you said about him. I'm sorry. Not the easiest person to get in touch with. So.
That's good.
Do we have any other updates about spaces downtown?
I do. I put it in an email on the weekend. But
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I did speak to. No, it's okay. I spoke to Vera on Friday or Saturday, and she's the person opening the French bakery on Main Street. And I don't know if you've noticed, but there's been construction, people going in and out. And she invited me to come by this week and take a peek at how it's coming along. She's very happy with it, but really doesn't think it'll come to fruition till like August. And she's not sure that's a great time to open. So she might do a soft opening. I suggested in August to get the kinks out, and then really push it in September. So unfortunately, take a little longer, but she's, coming along. And I did also call Sandy just to see how the corsetry was coming along. And she said, the second they tell her she can reopen, she's reopening, and we'll promote that. That's the corsetry on Warburton that had the electrical fire. There's a woman named Caitlin who's opening a photography portrait studio all the way down past Overseas Auto, all the way at the end of the building that had the lawyer next to the lawyer, and had the acupuncture studio in that building. She bought the whole building and she's opening her own photography studio on the main level. And it's just been taking a long time to cross all the T's and dot the I's, but she's hoping to open ASAP. The bank,
What was the name of that build? What's the name of that?
it's Caitlin, is her name. I can't remember the last name. It's I forget the number, but it's the last building down on Warburton.
I know what it is. Yeah, thank you.
You know, just diagonal across from Taim. And so that will be here soon. And she does like portraits, family portraits, that kind of stuff. And she was hoping to open ASAP to do like, you know, graduation and different things, but whatever, she's trying. I've been working on it for like a year, renovating. And then the bank, Bruno is still planning to renovate the bank. He's been working on the lawyer's office and apartments, but there will be spaces in Sterling Bank for rent, and they're in the 3,500-ish range, give or take, from what I hear, and a couple of thousand square feet. So that's just something to know about.
How much longer on that? That's been empty for quite a while.
Yeah, he's been doing other parts of it though. Like there was a lawyer office, he moved downstairs, and like there's, you know what I mean? So, you know, he wants to get the retail spaces done soon. I don't know exactly when. I tried to, I did share that with our former bike store owner, and connected him with the landlord because it was the size and price he had wished that he was looking for, but he said it's not the right time for him now. So I really want to woo him back someday, but so those spaces will be available. The cleaners on the corner still available. I hear anything from 5,000 to 6,500. He's asking, which is a lot, and
That is so stupid.
needs
That's
renovation.
not fair.
I
That's gonna
called-
sit forever looking like an eyesore.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
I know. I mean, I do know someone who was interested in it as a restaurant person, but I don't know, if they're willing to pay that and renovate it, put in a kitchen and all that. So I don't.
Can't, I mean, just
And that-
the cost
yeah.
for putting the ventilation in
Yeah.
would make
mean,
it
I
not worthwhile.
I hate to say this, Ted, with you on and listening, but I will say, I think it's important that, just we all think about the fact that, a lot of landlords, and I'm not saying this is you, but a lot of people want that are just not easy to fill spaces here with, Galapagos was going to go up to like 3,000 as part of the reason she decided to retire. They might be flexible on that, but she was paying 1,500. So it's not like, that's a big leap, and it's not a big space, but maybe the right business with the right, model and some negotiating could make that space work. That's another empty space. And then, of course, the big building in the middle of town, Arthur from Compass has shown it to some people, so developer combo with the restaurant owner. And they're contemplating it. It's just a very big expenditure because it's like 1.9 million, I think, for the building, plus it needs work inside. But whoever buys it can sell 2 giant loft-sized condos with roof access, and then could be partnered maybe in a restaurant. So there's definitely some people circling around it, but nothing's happened yet. And Purple's off the market. Sarah wants to keep Purple, and she's working on ideas for that. Always
Okay.
want to brainstorm with people. So that will turn into something again. I think that's everything, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Well-
I get it. It's just, there's a lot of buildings that have been vacant for a long time. The doctor's office across the street from Penny Lake disappeared this weekend.
Disappeared, did you say?
Yeah, like Friday night, their signs were up, and Saturday morning, their signs were gone.
The Movie House Muse one. You're saying?
They're moving to Main Street.
Yeah, so
I
they're
think in
taking
the old Riolo building.
Right, they're taking the Riolo building
Yeah.
on.
Hi, Samar.
Hello, I'm sorry again
Yeah.
because I have 10:30 appointment. I'm in
Yeah,
the
go do
Uh,
business.
for the invite and for all you do. And well, we'll keep on
It's good to see you.
Bye, Samar.
good luck and everything,
Bye.
and so much for all you do.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye. Au revoir.
So the doctor's office with what she called the vampire studio, spa studio is gone. It literally disappeared overnight this weekend.
All right, well, I have that landlord's phone number. It's Dr. Argawal is his name. He's very nice. And he just, rented the upstairs to family who moved in
Okay.
upstairs. And I'll reach out to him. He's also willing to relight. He says he's willing to relight the neon Hastings sign there.
Yeah, but I think he said that years ago, so.
I know, but
No
I
one's
think,
holding
you
their
know, he
breath.
was busy trying to rent the space. Well, I think we have to follow. It's up to us to sort of encourage him to do it. And he was busy trying to fill that space. So Mary Beth, if he relights the neon light, will the people in the apartments complain about the light coming in their window from the neon light?
Undoubtedly.
It's like the magic 8 ball, undoubtedly.
So then on that, note, can we switch to downtown improvements? I believe we have another sidewalk project coming up, don't we?
Well, we have Mary Beth here. Why don't you update us on?
Hello,
things?
Mary Beth.
Hi,
So nice to see you.
thanks. So I was initially told by the county that they didn't have their funding yet, so that it would probably have to wait until next year. But more recently, I was told that it might go this year if their funding comes through. So, you know, we're working with the county who does the design for us. I am concerned about, you know, more issues with regard to trees. That was a big issue last year when we, you know, replanted trees and changed the tree boxes so that we could have more flat surface basically for people to walk on, which I think has been actually kind of a good thing from my own observation. I see people using the, you know, the tree pits that are covered with the pavers to, you know, push their strollers on and everything else. So it just gives a little bit more space on the sidewalk to move. But the next scheduled area is Warburton from Spring down to the auto place, Overseas, is it, or Underseas Auto? I forget the name.
Overseas, yeah.
Overseas, yeah. So that and as I said, but I am concerned about the whole tree, you know, the tree thing, because that was a big issue last year. The people, they don't. So a lot of residents in the village just didn't want to see the existing trees removed and new trees planted. But that's the only way to change those tree pits. They can't be. You can't put that tree pit the way we have it on an existing, you know,
Right.
mature tree. It's not going to work. So,
Right.
so that's, but anyway, so I'll be discussing trees, but I was actually pleasantly surprised when they told me recently that they thought it might be able to go forward this summer instead of having to wait until the next
Yeah,
construction season.
And summer's always good because, you know, before obviously business picks up again in the fall. That would be great.
Yeah, and
the
then
weather.
the next street after that is Spring on both sides. And then there'll be another round of CDBG grants that we can apply for in 2024, for 2025, 26, and 27. And, you know, we'll be looking to go all the way up Main Street you know, on both sides. There was also some concern by the store at the corner of the, you know, Suburban I think it's Suburban, right? At the corner of Main and Warburton there. They were very concerned about their basement and their sidewalks. So we might just forego that area and then just start on the other side of
Was there
Bollinger.
concern? I'm sorry, Meredith?
Yeah, it was is it Suburban? It's
Suburban
maybe-
renewal?
Yeah, Suburban Renewal, yeah. They were very concerned, the owners of the building were very concerned that the sidewalk and their basement and the kind of foundation structure of the building are very intertwined, and that doing anything to the sidewalk might negatively impact on their foundation. It's also a very tricky corner. You can see that the sidewalk there is quite slanted.
Mm.
And you can't put that back. It's not ADA compliant. You have to put back, you know, at least 4 feet of level sidewalk.
Yeah.
So that there's some tricky areas, so I'm sure you all are aware, in the village with basements that come out actually under the sidewalk. And we found a coal chute last year and a number of other things. But yeah, as soon as I have the plans, you know, kind of finalized by the county, I'll be discussing them with the village board.
Okay. And the Warburton one would go on the other side of Overseas, right? There's a couple of businesses on the other, I assume it would go to the gas station, right? It would go.
That one goes to from Spring Street
Mhm.
It was originally gonna go to north, but in looking at if I was out there looking at it just the other day, the sidewalk is actually already done if you go to the north of Overseas.
Oh, okay.
And the driveway at Overseas is a kind of a real complication. So we're gonna skip the driveway and just do kind of the rest of the way until you get to the new sidewalk that exists there now.
I see. Got
But
it.
that's on the west side of Warburton. So we'd have left the east side of Warburton and Maine on both sides, basically going up beyond where we've gone so far.
All right, thank you. And besides the sidewalks, the other thing that's pending is just the downtown improvement grant wise? Is that the next thing that we'll hear about?
Oh, the dig, yeah. No, I'm looking forward to hearing about that. We should be hearing about that soon, I think. My last indication was that it would be pretty soon, although I haven't heard anything further. And that was probably maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks ago that I asked. They said it would be like 3 or 4 weeks that they'd be doing interviews. So, but yeah, that would be very exciting if we could get that for the village. It would really be, it'd be a great asset for the downtown for sure. So yeah, fingers crossed on that. I think we wrote a really good application and we'll just have to see if we're successful.
Ellen, I don't know how long we have Mary Beth. How long do we have you for? Because I don't know if you what your topics, but I was thinking that parking spots might be meters. What we can say?
I did have a parking related question for you, Mary Beth, but I promise it has nothing to do with meters.
In that case, I don't have to go right this second.
So over the weekend during my craziness, I had people I know who live on Warburton Avenue, who are residents on Warburton Avenue, heading, south of the bridge, south of Cropsey. And they have a complaint. There are a couple of businesses parking their delivery vehicles using Warburton Avenue as storage for their vehicles. They're making it hard to park. They asked the police department about it, and the police department said, I don't know that there's any problem with this. But I actually do know that in most villages and towns in Westchester County, you can't use public parking for storage of commercial vehicles. And these are not businesses. They came to me because I'm on the chamber, but these are not Hastings businesses. There's a construction company I don't know the name of. And I actually, because people are intense, I got photos sent to me. The other one is they are refrigerated food delivery vehicles.
And they're parking there, Ellen, on the
They're
bridge?
parking on Warburton Avenue. They're parking like in front of Square Peg. They're parking in front of people's homes. They're keeping their refrigerated vehicles there. I'm trying really hard to find the photos now just so I can catch the name. It's Omaha Beef, and I think it's here, hold on, I found it. They are parking on Nodine Street. At the top, there's a ton of construction vehicles using Nodine as parking storage for construction vehicles. And
Well, there is a good amount of construction going on Nodine right now.
Oh, okay.
That may be zero Nodine.
Okay, she said
under
Nodine,
construction.
it says that they leave their trucks and their vans there overnight and on weekends. And that the other one is Omaha, wait.
Omaha Steaks is like a delivery thing, yeah.
Well, no, this is a local
Oh.
business. I think it's, there's a bunch of vans and vehicles, and they're Omaha Beef vehicles. I'm trying to find their actual name on the photographs.
I mean, Omaha Beef is a kind of a place out in the Midwest, which
yeah, well,
basically,
this is, I think this is, so it's called Omaha Beef and Seafood.com wholesale. And they have a few vehicles that they are using Warburton as storage for.
okay.
So basically the residents question and the folks who run Square.
Omaha Beef and Seafood, what was the last word there?
Sorry, it is
Wholesale.
Omaha Beef.
Wholesale, right,
Seafood.com. And the name on the vans is Omaha Beef and Seafood Wholesale.
Okay.
Yeah, people subscribe for
But
delivery.
they are using Warburton as storage for their commercial vehicles. And the question the residents had to the Chamber of Commerce is that legit? They're taking up a lot of spaces.
Right.
Yep, let me look into it and, you know, I can ask the building inspector to talk to the contractor. They probably store their materials and things in those vehicles, so, you know, they're not, but I'll have him talk to them if they're blocking, you know, resident stuff, maybe. he
Yeah,
can
they're taking up a
visually-
lot of,
Visually talk to people.
the residents
and,
are saying that they're taking up a lot of spaces on the weekends. There's a lot less places to park because of them. And then they said when it's alternate side day, it's just awful between the Omaha and the construction vehicles getting any parking down there.
Okay, I'll look into it.
Thanks, I'll tell them that. But that was the only question I had.
Mary Beth, Linda sent the new application for the permit. I don't know if you heard that at the beginning. I mentioned for business owners parking permits. So she sent it to the 22 businesses that have previously purchased, but I'll send it to my whole list and see if people are interested. And I know you might have to go if I bring this up, but how has the feedback, you know, how is it settling down? People's comfort level with the meters? I did get gotten some.
Mary Beth Rudd.
Oh,
Yeah.
most of the issues have been from the residents on Maple Avenue. We are putting another, and actually the couple of businesses that are on Spring Street there. We are putting another pay station here, right in front of the village hall, so that should help alleviate the folks on Spring Street's concerns. And you know, the Maple Avenue folks, it's a little bit different because they are a metered street, but they're residences, and so there's some. I think the issue that they really have is beyond meters, but the meters have given a voice to the issue to some extent. Some of their concerns were that people would park there and then go down to the city and be able to renew on the app. You can't do that, so they wouldn't be able to do that. One of their concerns that they have expressed is that people who work in the village on Warburton park in their spaces, in their free spaces, because one side of the street is free spaces and the other side is metered. And you know, people get to their jobs and then they take up their free spaces that are in front of their house. So they want, you know, kind of designated spaces. That's not really something that we can do. But I mean, I think the businesses probably all know that they can get, you know, a fairly cheap parking pass for themselves and their employees and park in the sort of red spots that are designated for that. So, but you know, there's some folks that just don't like the idea of using an app because, you know, as we all know, apps and everything else like track us wherever we go. There's some folks that don't like that. And there's just people who, you know, change is sometimes challenging for people. And but Anthony and Raf have been doing tutorials at the library and at the JHCC, and then they actually take people out to the pay station and walk them through the process, and that has seemed to allay the fears of some of the seniors, and we're going to continue to do that for as long as necessary. I mean, you guys have your ears to the ground better than I do, so you probably know better than I do, you know, what the sense is.
I actually have a specific question about the Con Edison lot. The meter that's outside of the Con Edison lot is just for the Con Edison lot, right?
No.
I tried to use it and it doesn't let you say what zone. You just put in your credit card information.
I thought that let me just take a quick peek, because I thought that was that it did have the ability to not just, you know, feed the Con Ed lot. So let me just look real quick here.
And is it for 2 hours, Michelle? I thought you had the issue of people.
I don't know.
No,
Well,
that's a commuter lot, so you can get 12-hour parking there.
Well, so the commuter lot is permitted during the week, right? But the sign changed.
It's permitted, but it's also, there are both permits, and in the commuter lot, you can park by permit or by pay station.
So there's a sign next to it that I always took to mean that, hold on, let me read it. That it's a permitted area, but you have to pay the meter.
Right, yes, you can either, there's two ways of doing it. You can buy a permit pass for an annual permit pass, which allows you to park, I think it's it's either the yellow or the white spots, I can't remember which is which. And then there's just a $10 permit that says you're a resident, and you can then park by meter at the Con Ed lot and the Zinser commuter lot.
Okay, so it
Um,
says, yeah, so it says metered parking restricted with permit only, but so it used to be, the sign there used to be that said it's free on Saturdays.
Yes.
Now it says it's 12 hours. You have to pay on Saturdays, but then it's.
That's an error. This one of the signs, and it is the sign in the Con Ed lot, was incorrect. It's being fixed. But we're not changing that you have to pay, on the weekends.
Okay, well, it wasn't that they had to pay, it's just that I know, like, when we have parties, especially now that there's the app and the 2-hour limit with license plates, we have parties that are there for 3 hours. So I want to make sure I'm telling them like where to park, because I always get that question. So that lot will still be free on Saturdays, is what you're saying?
Yes, the Con
Okay.
Ed lot will still be free on Saturdays.
Okay, that's good.
Can I ask about the business permit that you mentioned earlier
Sure.
for parking? What is that?
I believe it's $225 or $250. And you can get an annual permit, and you can park at spaces that have a kind of a red band currently on the meters. We're thinking about how we're gonna redo that once the meters disappear so that they're identified. And there's some on Whitman, there's some on Villard, there's quite a few on Maple.
I have it right here. If you want, Mary Beth, I mean to
Sure.
interrupt, but it's $150 for the year. I'm going to forward this to them.
150. Smart.
150, yeah, I know, you're like, wow, good deal. It runs from June 1st, 2023 is the renewal, is when it would start, through May 31st, 2024. And so for a year, June to June, and the spots have an orange band, and they're located on Whitman Street at Main Street, 5 spots, Villard at Warburton for 4 spots, Warburton Avenue between Villard and Broadway, so down at the far end, past Penny Lick, there's 4 spots there, and Maple Avenue between Village Hall and North Street, there are 20 of them. And so you pay this $150, it's virtual, so they know you're licensed, you're in the system, and you don't have to put anything on your car or anything, and you just won't get a ticket if you pay that $150 for a whole year.
Quick question on the Whitman spots, because there used to be a bunch of them over there. And now I only see, I think, one when they put the bags over the meters. I think I only saw like 1 or 2 of the orange thing around it. Have you removed spots there, or are they still
No,
there?
we haven't removed any spots.
Maybe we should double check. It says 5 here. Linda did say she was going to be updating the map. I don't know if anything changed, Mary Beth, but she said.
No, we did not remove any of the business parking spots. If for some reason it's not showing, we can look at that, but we didn't remove them.
Okay.
Yeah, well, that's good to know, because I had no idea, and that's something Bill and I have been saying that we wanted for a while, so it's nice to
And Lorna,
know
you're
that this
getting
has
my
been existing.
emails. Lorna, you're getting my emails because for a while I had the wrong address, but you're getting them now, right?
Uh-huh.
All right, then you'll get this today because I'm going to forward it.
Okay, good, thank you.
You're welcome. So, and how is it working, Mary Beth? Is it keep coming up about when the 2 hours ends? You can't there's a waiting period. What do we do?
No, I believe with the 2 hour, you can renew for another 2 hours.
Oh, you can.
It was the 6 hour that was really of concern, but because the 6 hour, people would park in the 6 hour on Maple, and then because it's cheaper, and then go into the city, and if they could renew on the app, 12 hours probably enough to do your commute. But on the 2 hour spaces, you can renew them for another 2 hours.
Okay.
I don't think you can renew them indefinitely, but you can renew them for like 4 hours.
And the service charge on the app, is that been an issue for people? People are asking me about that. Is that like
Some people have complained about that, yeah.
Did we consider, or could we still consider the 10-minute free run in and run out kind of feature? Are they doing that in Dobbs, Michelle? They
Yeah,
are?
15 minutes, you put in your license plate and you get 15 minutes. I don't know if it's 1 per day or 2 per day. In Nyack, they do 2 per day, but it's linked to your license plate.
They do that in some areas of Yonkers and Bronxville as well.
Has the board thought about that? Was there a reaction to that, Mary Beth, or how do you feel about it? I don't know.
We didn't discuss it with the board, although I have discussed it internally a little bit. But you know, we have pretty reasonable parking.
I mean,
you know,
15 minutes is
mean-
like a quarter, right? So,
Yeah.
okay. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but you have any thoughts about it, Michelle?
I mean, I think it's partly a mental thing. Like if people understand that there's this option that could make it easy for them to pop into Hastings, they, you know, might make the choice in that direction. Yes, it's only a quarter, but I think it's more of just like the idea of convenience. And personally, I use it all the time in Nyack when I have to like drop my son off at drum lesson. And it goes a little bit faster. You don't have to look through change. You don't have to do the credit card. You just kind of go, yes, I'll take the 15 minutes and go. Like it's a much quicker transaction. And those, like the license plate thing is kind of annoying in law, which, you know, it is what it is. So I think it's not about the quarter. It's just about like the idea of convenience. And
You still have to put your license plate number in, Michelle?
yeah. But
still
when you
have-
get to the payment, it's like, do you want this free 15 minutes or you
Oh,
can
I
put
see.
money in and you just hit yes and it's done.
So then you
So-
don't have to do the credit
You don't have
card.
to look for change. You don't have to do the
If-
credit card.
I have like my vehicle like is registered in there. So I have my license. However, like for 1 hour, it's $1.55. So it's really because of the fees. It's actually not a quarter for 15 minutes. It's
Oh,
$1.55. So if you
That's on the app though, on the
app.
there's.
If
They're-
you use the app, it's 55 cents even for the free 15 minutes. So we're just talking about the pay stations.
okay.
The
I'm
plug-in.
actually coming to-
Nyack does have more pay
Oh,
stations,
yeah,
though. We have one on like
Yeah, but you have to
every block,
go.
every other side of the street.
Okay, well, welcome back.
And
yeah,
if you're handicapped, do you, is-
Ellen, you're not on mute.
get 15 minutes.
Ellen,
Ellen,
you're not on mute.
and if you're handicapped, do you not have to do the same thing because like, if it-
Handicapped spaces are metered. They
Okay.
continue to be metered.
okay, perfect,
They get their own personal meter still.
which makes sense.
So, yeah, of course. So the pay so the free thing would be, if we did that, it would be at a pay station. You could punch in your thing and say, I'd take the 15-minute option. I personally, Mary Beth, I think that might be, I mean, there's so much, I don't know, there's so much backlash, at least it seems like it's hard to tell with social media, and I don't read everything, you know, that comes up, but people have been texting me things and sharing like that. A lot of people like, you know what, when I need a quick stop somewhere, I'm just not going to go to Hastings. And I don't know if that's just a handful of loud voices or if people are really, it's hard for me to know, you know, I mean, if they could, it might be, I don't know, just really, like you said, Michelle, be inviting for people to just pop into the cleaners and get, or whatever it is, or get an ice cream or do whatever, you know.
The lot
drop-
behind us is
Yeah.
always empty. It's
What's
always
that?
empty. The
What
lot
is?
behind us on
Yeah.
Warburton, I forget the name of it.
Steinstein.
You know,
Steinschneider.
Schneider, thank you. It's always empty. Even during the holiday season, there's usually 1 or 2 spaces open. So I hear people complain about the parking, but I don't know, you know.
I can say, you know, I guess I don't have the experience of the businesses on Main Street, but we have a business, as you know, on Main Street in Dobbs Ferry, and there is really truly parking issues in that village. I know they say it's a walking problem. That village, it's not just a walking problem.
It's impossible.
Hastings, I've always felt like is just, even when I go to somewhere on Main Street, I don't have a problem.
I
finding
feel the
parking.
same way.
Yeah,
I've
same.
lived here 26 years and I've never spent more than 5 minutes looking for a spot, you know. I
Yeah.
mean, once in a blue moon, I've had a circle, but really very rarely.
Mm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, but I still think but the idea of not having to pay to run in and out, I think is kind of a boon, but I don't know. I don't know how much the village
don't-
loses for that. I don't know
I
how much
think
it really gets us. I don't know.
they said recently how much it was used, and it wasn't like an exorbitantly high number.
Hmm.
if that's a concern. I think it was even a Facebook post. I could probably look for it, and they decided to continue doing it. The other thing that NIAC did, which I don't think they're doing anymore, is just have like a couple of designated 10-minute spots, like, so you don't have to put anything in. And so you just, so I don't know, for like, maybe for Main Street where, you've got more congestion, if that's maybe the answer instead of the free 15-minute thing, where it's like, you literally like one spot where you could pull in, grab the pizza or grab a, curbside order or whatever it is, and pick it up. That's another option.
I think it's a good idea to do the 15-minute either way, but I like the 15-minute. And if nothing else, I think it would act as goodwill also, from the village to the residents, even if it's not used that much. It's like, well, yeah, we're doing this at least to make it a little bit easier for you. The biggest complaint I've heard from folks that I speak to randomly here is the having to use the app. They just don't, there's some people who just don't want their information. Now, it could be that they have other apps and I have no idea. I don't have access to their phones, and it might be just a reason to complain.
But you put your credit card information in, there's like a feeling of like,
yeah,
how do we know that this app, protect, like, feeling of uneasiness with that?
Yeah, they want the option of being able to just shove $1 in the machine and be done with it. That's what it is.
Why? So the fee, I think I read in Dobbs Ferry, it's the same app. In Dobbs Ferry, it's 30 cents per transaction. Is there a reason why the 55 cents is in Hastings?
Yeah, I mean, we looked into that, and I thought that what we found out was that the fees were going to be the same everywhere, but I'll follow up on that again too. I know we looked into it.
Dobbs Ferry hasn't been implemented yet, so that could be.
I think that may be it, yeah.
They just thought it was going to be 30 cents.
Yeah, yeah, because we were told it was going to be the same, but I'll look into it.
If I can just jump in for 1 second on the fee. I have no problem using the app. I like using apps. It's not an issue for me, but what I find irritating is that little bit of fee every time you park. It's just, I don't know. It's like going to Ridge Hill and they want to charge you $3 to run in and out of some place. It's just irritating. So I don't know if there's a way to change that up a little bit, charge 10 cents more an hour for the parking, but get rid of the fee because it's just irritating.
It's up to the app company, right?
Yeah, they get that money. We don't get that. That doesn't come to the village. That's their fee.
But aren't there, well, that's too late now, I assume. But there are other apps, like Park New York City doesn't charge you a fee, but of course they're like $30 an hour to park at their meters.
It may also be, that the city itself owns the app. I don't know. In New York City, they're big enough probably to own their own app. But we chose that one because, first of all, it's what we already have. We've had the app for many, many years in the parking lots. And also because it's what Yonkers has and what Dobbs has. And we just thought it'd be easier for people to have, some consistency with regard to the app.
I have a quick question, and this is completely off the table, obviously, for Hastings, but it's just a inquiry that I've always wondered about, of why Irvington has free parking in Hastings and Dobbs does not. I mean, I'm obviously money, but are they? Our taxes are probably around the same in Irvington. So
they're not.
They're not. Okay.
They're not.
No, yeah.
Their taxes are significantly higher.
And Mary Beth, how do they handle the people? I remember reading an article in the Enterprise. I can't remember the upshoot now. It was a while ago about, some people were against it there because people taking up spots, and leaving cars. But did they have a time limit on it there? I don't even know.
I don't.
Yes. They just recently held an event at Sunnyside. The chamber did, and the bank manager was like, just so you're aware, they're on like 2 hours, they chalk the tires, they're on it, they'll give you a ticket at 2 hours. He was very like,
I mean, I feared they had to, otherwise people would just park there and leave it forever. So yeah. Right. And so
I mean, I don't know the village of Irvington that well. I don't know whether or not like they just have a different type of parking situation in their village, and maybe, I just don't know. I haven't been in their village enough to know what the dynamics of it are.
Mhm.
It's also a hill, like maybe it's more motivation to go there. Because I don't know. We're lucky we have flat streets.
Find a hill.
Yeah,
You bike
yeah.
down. So good workout. Anyway, anything else? I was just thinking of, there was one other thing. With I mean, it only affects Michelle on this call, but I think you heard that there was no decision about, firm decision about the parklets and the sidewalk.
Yes, I still have to watch the recording. I'm sorry. I want to watch it. I will.
Yeah, you'll end up at the same place you're in now.
Maud mentioned an application, though, still went out. I asked Jason, he said he didn't get it. Is there?
Anthony did send it. Maybe we should make sure Anthony has Jason's email address. I can do that.
He probably does. It just maybe Jason didn't see it.
It's
So
on to let me know if
I
he
mean,
doesn't-
we've had an
On the
application with
website?
you in the past, so it is on the website, and we've had, you've submitted applications in the past, so I would think that you would not have been forgotten, but we'll certainly follow up on that.
We'll look on the website also.
And we're working on the downtown section of the village website. Speaking of the website, Jen and Nikki and Jen, of course, have been talking about it, and they just put some new photos up on a week from today. If he's still free, then Jim Metzger, the photographer and architect in town, is in the village. We're going to walk through the downtown and take photographs, attractive photographs of the outside of all the businesses, and try to embellish that so people can have a visual of our downtown.
Can he Photoshop the wires out of the front of Maud and us?
I can ask him to.
That's such an ugly, I'm like, oh, it's so pretty, but the wires.
He can do anything. He's amazing. I'll ask him. But yeah, we'll try to make everything as beautiful looking as possible. And yeah, I'm having a letter put up there from me to residents and visitors about the downtown, things to do, places to find out about events, shop local guides, things like that. And yeah, I don't know, does anyone else have, Ellen, did you have anything else on your agenda?
I didn't have anything else. We just wanted to hear about downtown business updates, any construction updates. I was afraid of mentioning parking, so you're welcome. And I didn't have anything else pressing for this particular agenda. I was going to say one thing about the village website. And it's actually, I mentioned this to Michelle recently, and it's not related to Hastings, but it's a story that probably affects all villages. Penny Lick is building or hoping to build a space in Mamaroneck. And we have been held up for several months by the village of Mamaroneck on process. And a lot of it is that that there's a lack of information, that when you go to ask people questions, they can't answer them. And there's even less information on their village website. And so when you ask their Chamber of Commerce, it's really nice and big and robust, they had no answers and told me to ask George Latimer, which is also not a thing. So what I was thinking would be great, like a long-term thought for small businesses in Hastings, any village really, is like a one-sheet how-to. So you want to hang a shingle in Hastings on Hudson. So you want to do business in Hastings. Here's a few things you should know. It doesn't have to be heavy on process or anything, but like a welcome to Hastings and things that like the advocates of the Chamber of Commerce can then lean on and help you advocate toward. It's like I'm in I'm in like month 2 of zoning hell with Mamaroneck. I hope to be open at this point. I just thought it'd be open last month, and now I hope to be open by the end of the year. And I'm losing a tremendous amount of money on it. And it's because they lost documents. They didn't have process. Somebody was out sick for 3 weeks.
Right.
And those things really financially hurt a small business. But it occurs to me that there's a huge attraction and a value add in a business, in a village, a municipality that has stated simple standard operating procedures. This is the deal. And it doesn't say, zoning is only gonna take 1 month. I mean, we're not promising miracles or anything like that there. But like, I went to Mamaroneck not knowing that every time a commercial lease changes hands, zoning is erased and you have to apply like you're building the building. And that's a bizarre thing, but every village has its
But
own quirk.
it's not the zoning that's erased, because if the zoning was erased, you wouldn't be able to do any, I mean, it's probably commercially zoned.
It's
Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to
commercially-
do it at all.
It's commercially zoned and that's it. Like, I had to apply, my special meeting this week is about the parking, which I did not build and was in 1950. But they decide whether or not they will give you zoning, and it's even the same use case for me as last time. I'm replacing a Subway sandwich shop. This is not a thing, and
So it's like a use variance that you
it's
have to.
yeah, but they said basically that you have to think about it as you're starting from scratch with zoning. And it was a 58-page initial application, multiple applications since, and many thousands of dollars. And we're still not any closer. I know that Hastings doesn't have that. That's kind of irrelevant to Hastings, but the concept of a simple page on your website, if you want to do business in Hastings, these are the entities you need to contact. These are the considerations you should have. It could be the thing that's in the hands not only of the Chamber of Commerce and a downtown advocate, but we could disseminate to the local landlords, to the local real estate entities that are representing this. I know it's kind of a pie in the sky thing, but
Well,
from
no,
a small business owner standpoint, the idea of communication and efficiency is such a sexy fantasy.
Right. So when someone comes to me and says they want to open a business, I tell them, make sure you talk to our building department, either visit or go or call them, make sure you have your permits, make sure you tell, you're cleared for with your certificate of operation before you officially open.
Yeah, but it'd be easier than instead of having to call you, so that there's
No,
a one.
I was going to just finish and you make sure for your sign, there's architectural review. I tell them all of that, but yeah, is there a page, Mary Beth, on that would say that and just list the steps you have to take? That's not a bad idea. Then I could refer them to that and it would all be there. Maybe we could create that for the building department, if not.
It also probably depends a little bit on what you're doing, what kind of store you're opening, what your
Right.
needs are, what kind of establishment you're opening. But I mean, you can always try to provide more information on your website about process and where you have to go with what steps you need to take, whether it's planning board, zoning board.
It was a thought, like it's something that so that people are not wandering around confused and saying things like, no one told me X, when it's probably there somewhere and it wasn't easy for a small business owner to understand.
Yeah. And even like Caitlin, who's opening this photography studio, like she's telling me some of the holdups. I said, if you have holdups in the village, is there anything I can do to help you with? And she said, no, but it's like, I forgot to sign this document. And then they told me that, and then I did that. So it's like, it'd be cool if there was some system where, like a portal where things are checked off. You've signed this, you haven't signed this, I don't know. That was
We do have a portal. Everybody makes their applications,
Oh, okay.
online, and then they, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. And then, they bring in a signed application, and
I see.
And I think Buddy does try to help everybody, walk them through the process. I mean, sometimes there are requirements that, people don't necessarily like, or the documents aren't complete. And that's, in part because, a small business owner isn't like a professional applicant. There are people who, are making applications to various building departments all the time, and that's what they do for a living. And, but what you do for a living really is, sell beautiful furniture or provide delicious ice cream. You might not necessarily be familiar with the process of government in terms of applications. And I mean, you could, I don't think it's a bad idea to have some kind of simple process, but I also think that you don't want to mislead people either, that it's just going to be 1, 2, 3 and done. Because
It may
I mean,
just
things
be-
can arise like you can get before the zoning board, and it may seem simple, but then somebody comes in and complains about it, or the store down the street that sells ice cream doesn't want, competition coming in. And so suddenly, they think of all these reasons why, your ice cream shop shouldn't be able to open up, and they're in, with the board telling them all the reasons why. So, I mean, it's It's just not as, it's not always as cut and dry
Yeah.
as one would hope.
No, I do recognize that. I was really thinking of a very basic, most highest possible level.
Mhm.
Right.
Welcome to Hastings. on
Building
Hudson. Like,
department.
we'd like to do business here.
This is how you reach our building department, or you can stop in during these hours to go over things such as this. You know, and this is not a complete list, a little disclaimer of everything you'll have to think of. Here's
Yeah,
the
but
zoning
this is-
board meets
this
on the
is a
first. whatever.
start, And you should meet our friends at the Rivertown's Chamber of Commerce.
Well, if you go to our website for the
Yeah.
building department, you'll see applying for a building permit, applying for a fire sprinkler permit, applying for a plumbing or electric permit, applying for a solar permit, applying for a street opening permit. So it does give you in each instance a kind of a summary of what those processes are. So, I mean, why don't you guys take a look at it if you think there, are ways it can be enhanced. I mean, specifics are always helpful in that regard, just because, it's, if there are specific ways that you think the building department's website could be enhanced, let us know.
Right. Okay. Thanks. Yeah. Oh,
On that note, even I have to get on another call. I have an event
Okay.
I have to take.
And one thing, Ellen, I just want to tell you that I spoke to Mary Beth and she gave me the list of all the garbage holidays for the year, and I am going to write to all the business
Like
owners.
stapling it
then
on some people's foreheads at this.
Yeah, and remind everyone, like with Memorial Day coming up, I will get that out and
Oh yeah,
remind
that
everyone
is
not to put
always
garbage
the
out.
worst when we have like a Memorial Day parade coming and there's just garbage up and down the damn street.
Yeah,
It is
particularly on that holiday.
So embarrassing, and it happens every time.
Okay, well, I'll do that.
All right.
And- Okay, all right.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for a wonderful call. Thank you for taking the time. I am so sorry I was late. I have a slightly malfunctioning ice cream machine and some
What's going
staff
on?
out with the flu, so things are going great here.
Oh, my.
I wish you all a wonderful day. I will see you all soon. You can all give
Thank
me
you.
a call or an email anytime you like. I'm really pretty reachable and mostly attached to the Hastings store at this point.
Thanks, Ellen, and thanks for coming, Mary Beth.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Sure.
much for spending some time today. I hope the rest of your day is super smooth. Take care,
You too.
everybody.
Okay, bye.
Bye.